What's going on, everybody? This is John J Gaming on the mic here, coming at you with a brand new episode of the FCS Dynasty here on NCAA 2006, one of the best NCAA games ever made, and also featuring that next mod as well as got a little bit of a teaser of week number 3 action. There was so much action in week number 3 that I'm dividing that thing up into 2 episodes. So this is actually the early games portion of week number 3. Hopefully you guys are excited for a little quickie out here on the YouTube channel. And if you are, make sure you go ahead and smack that like button, hit that subscribe button as well if you do happen to be brand spanking new as well. And how about this to start an episode? So we got Rice and Western Carolina playing up against each other. They are two teams that are ranked in the top 25 in the entire country. You cannot make this up. And Rice is going to take an early 7-0 lead, but the Western Carolina defense, they are going to respond and they're going to make some big plays on the football themselves to go with it, as Kennedy is going to get in there and get that ball loose. So now Western Carolina will take over. They're inside the 35-yard line as Michael Young, who we did see struggle quite a bit in the previous game, he's able to come out here, prove that, listen, what happened in the first half of Villanova, that was a complete fluke, and showing some good stuff here early on. Michael Young's going to throw a touchdown, and that will instantly tie this game up at 7 apiece. But now Rice's turn to try to strike, and Rice was able to put together a pretty good drive themselves. Except the problem is, they forgot to put that football on the ground, and now we're going to talk about Western Carolina getting that football. Kennedy once again, by the way, getting that forced fumble to go with it. And now a chance for the Catamounts to take the lead, which they will do just that, as Michael Young will go ahead and throw his second touchdown pass of the first half. Nice job by Michael Young, just hanging tough in the pocket, facing some intense pressure, but because Rice sent that blitz, it was a one-on-one situation on the outside, and receivers were able to win. So you do love to see that, and you also love to see the Catamounts coming out on the other end here on the last 30 seconds of this first half. Catamounts, they are going to be able to go ahead and get themselves an interception, as Mason was trying to throw that ball up in the air, trying for really anybody, to make a play on that football, but unfortunately, that is not what happened for the Rice Owls, and they found themselves down 14-7. That's even with the free turnover, so if Rice can clean this up, they can definitely win this game. We'll see if the Catamounts can play better on offense, though, as Young throws to the right-hand side, gets it out, and it's going to be a huge catch down the sideline. That goes for a massive first down, as Michael Young saw the one-on-one matchup on the outside and is able to bring it down. So now 14-7 lead, still could be an even bigger lead, as Michael Young throws again. It just throws an absolute dime into the end zone, and that is a touchdown for the Catamounts. We're now looking at a 21-7 lead. And now Western Carolina will go ahead and kick things off back to the Rice Owls, trying to get another special teams touchdown, but instead Martin is going to put the football on the ground as well, and that is going to be covered by the special teams unit of the Catamounts. So that opens up a red zone opportunity to start the drive, but facing 3rd and long, so Rice almost able to hold up completely, but on that 3rd and 14, one of the receivers get loose and finds the end zone again, just making it look easy, as Michael Young is able to put together yet another touchdown pass. He's been feeling himself in this one. So that makes it 28-7 in favor of the Catamounts. And then, if things aren't bad already for the Rice Owls, they are going to go ahead and get even worse. A fumble recovery that gives Catamounts very favorable field position, and that's going to wrap things up here, it seems like, as we have yet another touchdown for Michael Young. The brother is balling out today for Western Carolina. 35-7 gonna be your score after this incredible play on the offensive end, as now 2nd and 10 from to start off the fourth quarter of action at this point. Western Carolina, they go ahead, they put some of their backups in, and JC Dallas comes into the game for the Catamounts, and he does put together a really good run, don't get me wrong, but JC Dallas, first time that he's ever seen the field. He's been a first-string quarterback. He has been elevated to that backup quarterback spot for this upcoming season. Yeah, not a great look there whatsoever, but all good. Rice does not score on that particular fumble, but that won't be the only fumble that Western Carolina has, though, as that is going to be recovered by the Rice defense as well. So this game is probably over. Less than a minute left to play in this first quarter, or in this first game, I should say. But, at least they can come out here, try to make this scoreboard look a little bit less ugly, as Mason will throw over the middle of the field. One of the last plays of the game, and it does go for a touchdown for the Owls of Rice. So Rice does go ahead. They get another one up on the scoreboard, and that is going to wrap things up. Western Carolina, they look good as they are trying to make their first FCS playoff appearance, which is a little bit surprising. They had some good teams in year number 4, but NCAA sanctions prevented them from going to the playoffs. This could be their year, though, as they take down a top 25 team with a 40 as well, winning by multiple touchdowns as well, cementing themselves as one of the best teams in the country that may not be getting as much attention as some of the other blue bloods in FCS college football. And speaking of FCS teams that are on the rise, Portland State, we're going to go ahead and check them out now, as Portland State, they come in ranked number 9 in the country, but they will be taking on a Maine squad that is certainly feeling motivated. They're feeling very confident, even though they do come in as the underdogs today. Maine, they did beat the number 17 team in the land, the Sanford Bulldogs, 21-17 in the previous FCS episode. And now we'll see if Flash Williams and company can bring it home once again, as Flash Williams is going to get off to a great start there. Throws to the outside, finds his receiver, and his receiver is going to do the rest of the work. It's a touchdown for the Black Bears. I mean, it's just a one-on-one matchup. The corner just gets turned around. You absolutely hate to see that, to be honest. And Maine's going to take a 7-0 lead, so a little bit of pressure put on Carl Pierre in this one, but he's going to find his favorite target as well, and that is Ryan Otis, who runs it all the way into the end zone. Touchdown, Vikings. And it didn't take very long at all in order to make it happen, but we now got ourselves a tied football game. But after a couple of field goals, Maine will re-establish the lead. They'll try to extend that lead before going to the halftime. About 3:30 left to play. And Flash Williams, he's going to take a shot downfield, finds his guy, and is in the end zone. Touchdown, Black Bears. And this Maine squad, I'll tell you what, Flash Williams, you want to talk about a flash in the pan. We are getting one that hasn't been seen since season number 2, it seems like. This Maine team has not been to the FCS playoffs, but they did manage to pull the upset on New Hampshire back in year number 2 when they were the number 1 team in college football. So, they got big wins on their resume, even though they don't have the playoff trophies in the trophy case. But that being said, Portland State, they're going to strike back right back as Cam Jordan. He's going to take this 97 yards into the end zone, and that will bring Portland State right back into this game. So a 1-possession game going into the final minute of this first half. Flash throws over the middle of the field, but is going to be intercepted by Carlos Turner. He'll get his first interception of the entire season. As Flash Williams, once again, it's not a bad decision. It's really not a bad decision, but unfortunately, he throws behind his receiver, and that does lead to the interception there. So, luckily, Portland State does not score off of that possession somehow. I don't know how they managed to pull that off, but that's what we did get to see, as Maine still has the lead going into the second half. And they get the ball to start the second half, could make this a 2-score game. might be another upset alert on the horizon here in the early going of week number 3. Next play from the 23-yard line. Flash Williams facing the blitz run away, but it's going to be intercepted. And this is going to be some trouble as Flash Williams cannot catch up, and neither can McCarty. And he's going to be sidestepping and Deion Sandering his way into the end zone. Touchdown, Portland State. And just like that, after the extra point, Portland State does retake that lead. And it just seemed like in that second half, if there was going to be a moment where Portland State is going to pull away, it might be right now, because Maine, they just forfeited the lead, and not to mention went free and out on their next possession, and Jordan has the football in his hands, and he's going to take that into the end zone again. Another touchdown for the Portland State Vikings, and we're starting to see that number 9 team in the land look like a top 10 team in the country. They got it to their biggest lead of this game thus far, an 8-point lead. So we'll see what Flash Williams has in store. He's a senior quarterback. He's dealt with adversity before, and it's going to turn that into yet another touchdown for the Maine Black Bears, and a chance to possibly go ahead and tie this game right now. I mean, look at this pocket by Flash Williams. You love to see that pocket, and just trusted his receiver to make a play. And, you know, a play was made, man. You love to see it. Maine does not score on the 2-point conversion, so Maine will be still down by a couple of points. But what we do end up seeing is Carlos Pierre, he's going to throw an interception here in the third quarter, trying to throw over to the tight end. That will not work out that way, so now Maine has a chance to take the lead. Flash, he's going to fire down the right-hand side. It's going to be caught. Touchdown, Maine. Another one for Flash Williams. He is a man of destiny here in the early going of season number 5. Pressure in his face, but just throws it on a dime. And this time the Black Bears do get that 2-point conversion. And now up 34-28. It's going to be a close game between these two teams. But Flash Williams wants to put them away. You got the number 9 team in the country on the ropes. You know what he wants. He wants a touchdown on this drive. Right here. Right now. And bring that finishing blow to the Portland State football team. Which, by the way, this is Portland State's first game of the season. So definitely some alarm bells if I'm a Portland State fan. But third and goal from the 1-yard line. McCarty's going to take the handoff. He'll find his way into the end zone. And that is a touchdown for the Black Bears, who get themselves yet another score up on the scoreboard. And that 2-point conversion will also be good. So Maine with a 2-score lead, and all the pressure on Carlos Pierre, who loses track of the football. That's going to be recovered by Maine. So 2 minutes left to play. They get a field goal out of it. And now down by 17 with a minute left. Carl Pierre at this point, I mean, we got to call it how it is. You want to talk about trying to get some stat pads going on? We're definitely starting to see a little bit of stat padding from Carl Pierre, as that is going to be thrown in the air. It does end up being caught. Is for a pretty good game, to be fair, you know, in all seriousness. But 2nd and 14, got to keep it moving. Pierre is going to hand it off to Sherman on the outside. He's got some space to work with, and Sherman will make the scoreboard look a little bit better. He'll find the end zone to get it back to a 10-point game, and it just begs the question, you know, where's more than this when the game actually mattered? But, you know, Portland State, they go for the onside kick. It does not work, and Maine is going to pull the upset. They beat the number 9 team in the nation, and they also beat the number 17 team in the nation. So 2 very quality top 25 wins for Maine. And, you know, for a team that really was not getting very much attention, very much hype going into this game, they not only beat Portland State, but you saw those total yards on offense. It was 496 to less than 200 for Portland State. It was absolute domination. So we'll see if we can see the same thing for Nicholls State, as they need to beat Eastern Kentucky here on the road if they want to get themselves ranked into the top 25 as well. As both teams come out onto the field, Nicholls State, they've, you know, done some pretty good work so far. They're undefeated, but Eastern Kentucky, they're a little bit slow out of the gates, if I'm going to be honest with you guys. Eastern Kentucky has not really looked that great. They did lose last week to Kent State by 20 points, a 3-touchdown loss. That's a tough one, even if it was on the road. But Nicholls State is not going to start out very well. We're going to see that defense that has made Eastern Kentucky famous. They're going to recover the fumble here, and that will provide Eastern Kentucky with great field position, and that's very important for an offense that has struggled out of the gate in the early going of this season as well, as Eastern Kentucky will manage to get a field goal out of it, as we will end up seeing Nicholls State come back with their second possession. And nice job here by Frederick McNair, making a great read on the speed option over to the left-hand side, make that pitch out, make those necessary adjustments, and that's going to be a touchdown for the Colonels. That's the fullback that's going to take this carry and run it all the way down the sideline. Eastern Kentucky, though, they just take some really bad angles. And I mean disgustingly bad angles as well. But that being said, Nicholls State, they do have the lead as they hand their football off back to the fullback. And the fullback's going to get loose down the sideline. He might score, and he does. Touchdown, Carter. Hey, Mr. Carter, where the heck have you been? He's been chilling in the end zone. That's going to be his second rushing touchdown of the game, as the Colonels trying to make another upset happen in this episode. The second one is going to make it 14-3 thus far, as Nicholls State will go back to their fullback. He's got the hot hand thus far, and just following his blockers downfield. Another first down, not a touchdown, but a big run. Eastern Kentucky, they simply do not have any answers right now, as they'll go back to that same fullback who's really having a career performance so far. Almost finds his way into the end zone too. They show up Frederick McNair's passing stats for some reason, because I don't know if that's what the game does. The game is made in 2005, so I'm willing to give it a little bit more grace than say the modern Madden games or any other modern indie game that does end up coming out, right? Because this game was originally made 15 plus years ago. For those that are a little bit older like myself, definitely felt myself age a couple of years just by that sentence. But Nicholls State is looking good, over 230 rushing yards, and that's also the custom player, Deuce Randolph. He's a senior on this team as well. He gets a great run there. So it really does seem like Nicholls State is going to run away with this game. But what we do end up seeing off screen is that Frederick McNair, he ends up hurting himself. He's not going to be able to play for the rest of this game. So their backup quarterback comes in, and Eastern Kentucky, they instantly pounce on that. Marshawn Palmer, the true sophomore custom player, he's going to force that fumble as well. But really what that $1 million question is, can the Colonels get something going on the offensive end? It really has not been pretty for Eastern Kentucky today. Just not having that same level of focus. I don't know if it's that deep playoff run that they made last year and they, got a little bit complacent, because here we are on the goal line, and Nicholls State's going to get an interception. That's nearly taken all the way back to the crib, as Howard Johnson steps in front of the receiver, Chris Vaughn. So now Nicholls State is going to take over at the 40-yard line. Backup quarterback comes in. He's going to try to throw downfield himself. He's going to find Speedy Woods there. And Speedy Woods is going to make the grab. He's known for his speed and athletic ability, but that time around asked to make a contested catch. And that was exactly what we saw. So now 21-3 lead here, and a chance to try to put more points on the board, as Tracy Randall trying to pitch that ball out, but it might have been deflected away by one of the Eastern Kentucky defensive players, as that will conclude the first half of action. Nicholls State is still looking good, but again, this Colonels team, they left a few points on the board. I'm not going to lie to you. So now they go back to work. Second half, Eastern Kentucky starts with the football. We start to see Cameron Coates find that groove. A 58-yard touchdown pass that is going to make this just a 2-score game. Now, I don't know if they'll end up going for a 2-point conversion or not. They choose not to do that. So Still an 11-point lead for the Eastern Kentucky Colonels, but this could change to a one-score game in a heartbeat as no, it's Chris Vaughn. Chris Vaughn has the ball, and Chris Vaughn will find the end zone too. And just in the blink of an eye, it's back to a one-score game. So, could still go in either direction, especially with Nicholls State. They are being very careless with the football right now. Let's just keep it real. As that is Deuce Randolph this time. That puts the ball on the ground, makes it 21-17. So Eastern Kentucky, they do end up, they scored another touchdown. No, they did not score another touchdown. I was thinking that they scored a touchdown and like I just didn't catch it off screen or something. I don't know. Maybe I'm losing my memory or something. But Nicholls State again, they turn the football over. That is 5 turnovers. The fact that they are winning this game right now, that they are actually ahead, is a minor miracle. And now Colonels have a chance to tie this game, get some good protection, fires, and finds the end zone. Touchdown, Colonels, and Eastern Kentucky will take the lead. They're going to be up by a field goal after this extra point. So, this offense for the Colonels now of Nicholls State. This just realized both teams are named the Colonel. Maybe I have to call this the Colonel Bowl if we see these two teams play each other more often. Let me know down in the comments section how you feel about that. If you made it this far in the video as well. But another turnover for Nicholls State. That's now 6 turnovers. And they were only down by 1 possession. Now it's more than just 1 possession, as Louis Rose, who was on that preseason Heisman watch list, he scores a touchdown there. So Eastern Kentucky, they got their biggest lead of the game, 31-21. But Tracy Randall is going to respond right away. He'll drop back the pass. He fires down the right-hand side. And just one-on-one coverage, just out through that corner. And put it to where only his receiver could make a play on the football. So, Nicholls State, they're back to just a field goal game. As Cameron Coates still needs to put up some points on the board. But we get a strip. And it's going to be recovered by the Colonels of Nicholls State. Now they will have a chance to take the lead. And Cameron Coates, he's just beside himself right now. That's one of his better receivers. Rogers, who makes a play on that ball. It just fumbles the bag. He just straight up fumbles the bag there. Now we see the Colonels with a chance to take the lead. And they will be doing just that. They take the lead. Deuce Randolph finds his way into the end zone. And is yet another touchdown. 35-31 is your score. And it's definitely a close one. So, 3 minutes left to play here in the ball game as the Colonels of Nicholls State trying to finish this game off. But the problem is Tracy Randall, they have a miscommunication on the option. Another fumble. It makes you wonder, if they lose this game, would Frederick McNair make the difference? Because it just seems like they are completely out of rhythm ever since Frederick McNair has left the game. As ironically, 6 of their 7 turnovers were from when Tracy Randall took over at the quarterback. And Colonels aren't trying their very best to give Eastern Kentucky this win. They are literally trying to hand this game to them. It's like Oprah, like, you get a turnover, you get a turnover. Everybody gets a positive turnover on that defensive side of the football. But despite all of those attempts, Nicholls State, they still found a way to win the football game. A very close game. A very exciting game for sure. 35-31 is going to be your final score. And whenever we see that AP poll come out in the very next episode of the FCS Dynasty, I would truly not be shocked if Nicholls State is in the top 25. But it's going to be a very hard conversation for Eastern Kentucky as they're trying to get back to the playoffs here in year number 5. But while we were watching some of the early games, so we did have a couple of top 25 matchups that just went final, and we got a shocker. The Columbia Lions, the Ivy League representing, they take down a number 19 ranked team in the nation, Central Michigan, 28-25. In order for Columbia, to get their very first win of the season. Also getting their very first win of the season as well is Northern Arizona. They hosted Villanova, who just lost to Western Carolina last week, and they will start 0-2 as Northern Arizona wins 50-29 in what was an offensive fireworks kind of show. So as I mentioned in the very beginning of this episode, we are going to go ahead and show the rest of week number 3 in the next episode. And if you thought there was a good amount of action in this one, you are going to be so excited about that next episode as well. What we're going to end up seeing is we are going to end up having 5 more games that I couldn't fit into this episode. That will be in the next episode as well. And not only that, we're going to take a quick look potentially at some of the top 25 polls, because I'm sure there'll be a new team or two in the polls. Take a look at how the Heisman watch is going, and of course the player of the week, if any of those players of the week were in the games that we featured here in week number 3. So guys, I'm gonna leave it at that, but I hope you enjoyed this episode. I know I've been a little bit lackadaisical with creating some FCS Dynasty videos. I'm hoping to ramp things up, as you know, we've been dealing with a little bit of cold, and you know, just coming out of that holiday season, and you know, just trying to get back to the flow of things. So we'll be back. Next episode of the FCS Dynasty will be the remainder of week number 3. But in the meantime, if you enjoyed this episode, I would truly appreciate it if you smack that like button for me, as that helps me out with the YouTube algorithm. And if you're brand new and you like what you see, hit that subscribe button as well. This is John J. Gaming on the mic, signing off. I'm hoping you're out there having a good one. Take care, everybody.